Afternoon Electronics Live 2019. I'm joined by Kamilla and Maurice from DesignSpark. Thanks for joining us. Now, at the other end of the hall, you've got a very interesting stand where you're actually demonstrating a lot of concepts which can often be hard to get your head around, like blockchain, those kind of things. You're designing it in a way that, demonstrating it in a way you instantly get where you're coming from. So can you just talk me through what DesignSpark is and how it started?
Yeah, so DesignSpark we started 9 to 10 years ago, and really we could summarize DesignSpark as a platform for engineers. So it's the place where people will go to find out about the newest products, the newest content, and it's rich in articles, in features, manufacturers' data, and we give really honest opinions about products. So if you want to look at a product, learn more about it, learn more about the technical content of it, then you should really visit DesignSpark. So we write articles, we write articles and new products, and you've been working on some of those recently.
Yeah, because we have good relationships with biggest companies in the market. We have access to these products, and myself as an intern, I get to actually get product, open it, test it out, come up with interesting projects, and then I publish content around that on the platform.
So it's quite objective as opposed to being,
Yeah, we give our honest review. Yeah.
So if you were looking for honest reviews in the latest technology like 5G, there's thought leadership pieces on the site that you can go and make your own decisions based on some of the facts.
And there's a huge demand for that kind of knowledge now, isn't there? Because the things are developing at such a pace, but also concepts change as they go on. Over the past 2 days, we've been talking about Industry 4.0, how it's almost become a dirty word, but the core concepts are going forward and people are adding to those. And it's very much that people need to keep their head above water because it's very easy to get bogged down in detail, but you need to be aware of what's on the horizon and what's available. And it sounds like DesignSpark is very much that kind of community.
You're absolutely right, and some of the data that we see from the market shows that new designs, up to say 80% of the components in a design are new. So you will need software that can cope with those new products, you'll need libraries, you'll need to make your own decision about what is the right product. So that's where we try to give, as I said, honest and reviews on products that people can trust. And because we're part of RS, and DesignSpark has been around for such a long time, we've become a trusted point to go to for engineers. We now have an engineering community of over 850,000 engineers.
Right. Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be reaching the 1 million point soon.
Yeah, that's
the target.
Yeah.
So, but it's been organic. You won't see us advertising DesignSpark. So it's through word of mouth, through engineers talking to engineers, and peer-to-peer contact. And as I said, that sort of honest opinion in products.
How do you listen to that many people? Because your development is driven by what your community is asking for. How do you, in all that noise, work out what the key elements are to pursue?
Well, it's an interesting question because we're global as well, and we, whilst we have offices around the world that support DesignSpark and people that work for DesignSpark right out from APAC over to the US, we also run email surveys. So we ask our users, how do you see yourself? How many designs might you be doing in a year? What would you pay for software? What sort of software would you expect? Where would you expect to see libraries? And so all those supporting things that engineers, the questions that they're really asking, we ask them. And that really drives the shape really of DesignSpark going forward.
So you've got some free software that obviously engineers can use, and then you move on to paid-for versions that take the functionality further. How does that work? Do you find people come on board with the free versions and get their head around it? Then it's a straightforward path for them through bigger and bigger businesses and bigger projects.
Yes, I would like to consider that we're perhaps somewhat agnostic. You don't have to use our tools, but as you come to the website, there's really 3 areas of tools that we offer. We offer DesignSpark Mechanical for mechanical designs. We offer DesignSpark Electrical for those creating cabinets and DIN rails, and also DesignSpark PCB. So these 3 tools, you come on, you sign up, and you're able to download these free of charge.
Right.
So available to any engineer that wants to come on the site. So there's no barrier really to starting a design, right through the whole spectrum of a designer.
How does the demographic of your members break down, members of that community? Are a lot of them new engineers? Are they established engineers? Are they bigger companies, small companies? Or is it right across the board? So you see the whole, well, I guess with that many members, you probably see quite a big spectrum of ages and, stages of career.
You're absolutely right, and there is quite a spectrum. We know that over 50% of the registered members in DesignSpark identify themselves as professional design engineers.
Right.
So we know they're doing 2 to 3 designs per year, and that's borne out in the data and the analytics that we look at. There is a spectrum of others as well, and they're welcome to come onto the site and use the free software. But at the show here, we've looked at what our users have been asking us in these email surveys, and that is that some of them would like more features, to align with their professional designs. And so what we did is we looked at the landscape of products, and Kamilla worked on looking at the landscape of all the products in the PCB area.
So as my project was to actually have a look at all the PCB design tools and compare them in terms of all the different features and the cost, and as well as all the support and training that all the users get. So it was trying to place PCB design tool that we offer, the free version and the pro version that we are offering in that kind of landscape. And from what we can see, there is an opportunity for us to offer those additional features for professional users who might find the free version is maybe not enough for their design, so they want to pay for additional features. So we, from the research, we saw that there is an opportunity for us. Yeah.
So in the landscape of PCB, we understand that there's right from a free software base, which free software might you choose. We'd like to encourage people to use DesignSpark PCB because there's a whole community of support. There's ticketing support for questions that you may have. There's a community that supports that as well. And as we look
that's available as soon as you sign up to the free version.
Absolutely, and
Yes.
people should come along to the booth or come along to DesignSpark and just register. It's very, very simple, very light touch registration.
Yeah.
And from there, we understand in that landscape that there's some very capable packages in the market as well that might cost you from £5,000 to £10,000 or dollars as well. We're not competing with those high. If you're doing a very high speed, say telecoms design, you will need the features in those high-end packages. But there's a number of engineers, let's say small to medium enterprise, professional design engineers that are looking for features, as Kamilla mentioned, that can grow a group, grow a design group very cheaply, very, very quickly. And because the menu structures are very simple, it's easy to use, learn very, very quickly and get designs out in standard formats very, very quickly.
But it's quite feature rich for that level, isn't it?
Yes, you're right. I mean, as we look at features like buried vias and the copper core and the keep outs of the thermal characteristics of the copper areas and pads, the auto routing as well. The auto routing is highly efficient, so it's going to reduce your vias, it's going to reduce your nets, it's going to produce much simpler boards. And so there's an efficiency saving in that. So when you're selecting a PCB package, these are all the things that you really should be looking at, the efficiency And then the ability to combine those in panels with perhaps other designs, because you're now perhaps a small to medium enterprise, you're going to produce these in a panel. You know, can you efficiently put those and get those manufactured? So we've thought of all of these things, and we've listened to the users, and they've been incorporated into this DesignSpark PCB Pro.
Well, I mean, the user base, but also that community there, massive resource of a lot of questions and demands for features, I bet. But you know, it's actually, how long did it take you to go through all of these other systems and?
Quite a long time.
Yeah.
I think first 2 months I spent on that. It's just lots of information and all the features. Like every software tool offers specific features, so it was kind of difficult to get this like general view, because you're trying to find that common feature that every software has. So it was very interesting, and I think that was very helpful when we were trying to launch this new Pro version, to have that kind of solid research and being able to refer to it as we go along.
If I could just add, I mean, some of the things that Kamilla was looking at was also the price points.
Of course, yes.
You know, as I said, so with DesignSpark PCB Pro, we've pitched that at a price point of £375. So there's a lot of features in there.
It's very affordable for the sort of features you're offering.
We'd like to think so, but come and have a look. In fact, there's a trial version that you can download completely for free, and see if it's the right package for you. And if it's not, we'd welcome any feedback. And,
Yes,
we work very closely with our partner, our developer.
Right.
And we're willing to look at the features that people want that might help and ease their designs and efficiency.
It's wonderful to see something like this, because it's an area that is hugely complicated, and for not just new people coming into this field to be able to download something they can use that is of a really good level to design. There's also, for, like you say, SMEs, small businesses, you know, that start up with even not one or two employees, you know, one guy's own. It's something that can be used there straight away, isn't it?
Yeah, perhaps as we look at where we're targeting in terms of the features and the product and the price point, it's not exclusively SMEs. We've seen some very large companies in Japan using our software as well, you know, as we're a global entity. So, you know, we're not excluding regions. You know, we have, as I said, in some of the APAC regions, we have some very fast-growing membership, as well as in the US. So, yes, it's free for anybody to use, and I think it's more dependent probably on the complexity of the board that you want to create.
Yes, yeah.
Although I perhaps pitched it as SMEs, I mean, perhaps that's where we'll see the most interest.
Right, yeah. So how do you see it developing over the next 5 years, next 10 years?
Yeah.
2 million people, members in the community, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, as you can imagine, we're always pushed. Million is now a nice round number, so we're pushing heavily towards that. Yeah. But yes, I think in terms of software, you know, there's other features that we know we can add. Perhaps a modular approach, better language support as we move forward, and to address some of those markets. It's quite interesting. We see a mix between the different tools, the mechanical, the electrical, and the PCB. Some absolutely require local language, and we offer that, for example, in mechanical, over 20 languages. Right, yeah. In the electronics world, we're fortunate that in a lot of areas English is spoken and used as the engineering language. So, but we can see enhancements there, and enhancements and features, modules that you could add in. But there's also a push towards mechatronics and the convergence of these tools. So, you know, where you have a PCB, being able to bring in an enclosure and push and pull and squeeze that enclosure, or push and pull the PCB to fit that enclosure, marry it up with the display, the LEDs, the switches, the connectors. We see a convergence there, more capability, not just bring in that enclosure, but capability to edit that mechanical enclosure as well.
Exciting developments, yeah. Well, I'll definitely come over and have a look at the DesignSpark stand, because it's fascinating. I think, you know, everyone should get involved with this, because there's so much knowledge there straight away, and there's so much to be shared there that it's a huge resource, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
And enjoy the
Thank
rest
you.
of the show.